petroleum product supply to filling stations within 20 kilometers to the nation's borders. Mr. Speaker, I'm putting this motion before the House for consideration and also request the House suspend the relevant rules to enable me to take this. I so move, sir. And 5 local governments in 21 states of this federation that are sharing borders between Niger Republic, Chad Republic, Benin Republic, and Cameroon. The House notes that the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service issued a directive on the 6th November 2019 directing that no petroleum product should be discharged in any legally constructed filling station within 20 kilometers to the border. Alarmed that the directive is tantamount to the Nigeria Customs Service exercising powers that violate the provisions of the Custom and Excise Act as amended. Also alarmed that the directive will no doubt increase the suffering of Nigerians living in the border areas who are already feeling the impact of the border closure more than the rest of the country. Concerned that no alternative provisions has been made to cater for the needs of the border communities, knowing fully how dependent the Nigerian economy is on petroleum products. Also concerned that the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, whose statutory duty is to close petrol stations and regulate supply, is yet to make any clarification on the issue. Worried about the inadequate public enlightenment on such a far-reaching sudden directive on an agency of government that will inflict untold hardship on people. Further worried about the loss of lives, jobs, transportation challenges, and general inconveniences that will arise as a result of such directives, which will affect hospitals, businesses, and the livelihoods of Nigerians as the poor power supply is well known in this country. Hence, the reliance on petroleum products for such energy. The House resolves to urge the Nigeria Customs Service to review its ban on the supply of petroleum products to border communities as it contravenes the provisions of the Customs and Excise Act as amended. 2, mandate the Committees on Interior, Customs and Excise, and Petroleum Resources downstream to engage the Ministry of Interior, Minister of State for Petroleum, the Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, and the GMD of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, with a view to reviewing the situation and ameliorating the suffering of Nigerians living in the border towns, and report back within 2 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, sir.
Lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, Nigeria shares a land border of kilometers with Niger Republic. My community is one of those living on those 1,497 kilometers. We share 1,609 kilometers with Chad Republic. I cannot remember that of Cameroon. Mr. Speaker, all along, there are communities, legitimate Nigerian citizens living on those borders. Mr. Speaker, these sudden directives, this issue, Mr. Speaker, in the next 30 or 25 days, we're approaching Christmas. You look at the relevance of the petroleum products to these communities, how will they survive during these ceremonies? It will be difficult. Today, in my town, in my village, on the border town, a gallon of petrol is 1,200. Mr. Speaker, the petrol stations that they say they should not discharge, they were constructed by law. They were declared by DPR. They were constructed and they were registered by Corporate Affairs Commission. No arrangement was made to cater for these communities. Today, if my people travel from Jibia to Katsina, it's 45 kilometers to buy petrol, to come to power their generators, to do irrigation. They confiscate the petrol along the way. If they want, they can go and check. I do not know what is happening from Birni Kebi, down Kebi, Kamba. If you go around Kamba, Baga, Bagudo, Ibom, Ikom, Badagri, Semi. Sir, this is not acceptable. If the customs are failing to do their job, if they are covering up on the understanding that there is smuggling of this product, who allows the smuggling? Let them shut down any petrol station that is engaged in smuggling, not inflict this hardship on Nigerian citizens. So I appeal this to look at these directives with human face. Our people are contending with the border closure. Yes, we agree. But Mr. Speaker, if we push our neighbors to the wall, we do not know what will happen. Mr. Speaker, these are Francophone countries. Nigeria is sharing a very strategic relationship with them. Nigeria is very influential in Africa. Mr. Speaker, we can get what we want without inflicting this hardship on our people.
Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Yes, sir. A few days ago, the DPR issued a statement, because I remember when in the course of raising your motion, you mentioned the DPR, that you haven't heard from the DPR. But we heard, they published in Vanguard elsewhere, that they were in cahoots. I don't.
But the DPR are the same people, are the same organization that cleared this sale of this petrol. Look, the issue is let's face it properly. Let's be honest with ourselves. There is a failure on the part of the customs and the agencies that should do their job. We are not saying we are not saying they should not come with this order, but they have failed. They have failed. They have failed to do their work. Even the closure of the borders is because they have failed.
So what
How many countries in the world go around closing their borders with their neighbors?
What measures would you have preferred them to
The
take?
measures they should go and sit down and do the right thing. They know what to do. They have been trained to do the right thing.
Which is? Because it looks like they don't know.
They have to think out of the box. What is the business of a local person that is living on the border town with smuggle of petrol?
But some of these border people,
Yes.
some of them are actually foreigners. They just mingle with
Who told
people
you?
who are actually.
Who told you? Are foreigners not allowed to stay in Nigeria?
But even in Jibia, your areas are.
They are foreign.
I've observed the elections already.
Of discharge of petroleum products. Can you imagine not to give people kerosene? Kerosene is part of petroleum product. Or diesel?
Yes.
Which of their barracks around the country, around the borders, that is living on electricity? I want to know. Their barracks that are on my border, there is no electricity there. How do they do their work?
I remember that some time ago you passed a budget.
Who was consulted? They just work overnight. In fact, it was even through a circular. They sent it to a person, an officer, and he's the one who issued the circular. It is there on the social media. It's not even the Controller General himself. The person said he was directed. How about a country where 2,000 communities living on the border, 2,000 communities, from 105 local governments in 121 states, the records are there. Go to the Border Communities Agency and see. The records are there.
But,
Are they not Nigerian?
so I noticed that in your prayers.
Smuggled. Why is it being smuggled? Why do we have customs? If it is being smuggled, yes, granted it's being smuggled. Why is it being smuggled? Who is smuggling it? If they have acknowledged that it's being smuggled, then okay, what happened with their job?
Okay, I think
So somebody else has.
The schools that are using electricity are not working. those innocent farmers that are using generators to power their generator and do irrigation farming is not working. The transportation fare has gone up. Completely, life is unbearable at the border communities. Go and see. Today, a liter of petrol, not kerosene, not diesel. I even imagine how a local man can even obtain a kerosene, because there is a ban on felling of trees. People have accepted that. They can only resort to using the kerosene. Where is the kerosene today? Is kerosene not part of petroleum product?
So it has
How do they get it?
So you're saying it has a spillover effect?
Absolutely.
On even the environment. If they start felling trees.
Yes, they will start felling trees. They will start felling trees. And you remember the normal characteristics of human being. When you stop a human being doing something, that's when he begin to do it. Go to the borders now, you will see how smuggling is has become the day of, a business of the day. They will come into the cities, buy the petrol, and cross border with it.
As a consequence of this policy.